Under the bright lights of T-Mobile Park, the air was charged with energy. The Seattle crowd, roaring and restless, sensed something extraordinary was about to unfold. For 7 innings, it had been a tight contest, every pitch a battle, every swing a test of patience and precision. Then came the 8th inning, a moment that would turn tension into eruption, silence into chaos, and 2 names, Randy Arozarena and Julio Rodriguez, into the heartbeat of a comeback that shook the night sky. Arozarena stepped to the plate first. His eyes, locked on the pitcher, told a story of focus and defiance. The Mariners were trailing, but his body language carried none of that pressure. Instead, there was calm confidence, the look of a man who had been here before, who thrived when the lights burned brightest. The first pitch came in fast, cutting through the zone, but Randy let it pass. The next one hung just enough, a slider begging to be punished. With a smooth yet explosive swing, he connected, sending the ball screaming into the left field bleachers. The stadium erupted. The sound was thunderous, a mix of disbelief and elation. Fans rose to their feet, waving towels, shouting until their voices cracked. Arozarena jogged the bases with that trademark flair, his expression somewhere between a smile and a challenge to the opposition. He didn't need to say a word, the bat flip, the slow trot, the electric energy said everything. It wasn't just a home run, it was a statement. As Randy returned to the dugout, Julio Rodriguez was already stepping out of the on-deck circle. The crowd's noise hadn't died down, and somehow, it only grew louder. Julio, the face of the franchise and a young phenom with a flair for the dramatic, took a deep breath. He knew the moment was his. The pitcher, clearly rattled by Arozarena's bomb, tried to reset. But Julio had seen enough fastballs in his young career to sense what was coming. The first pitch, high and inside. Ball 1. The next, a hanging curve that didn't quite break. Julio's bat whipped through the air with violent precision. The crack of contact echoed through the stadium like a cannon blast. The ball soared deep into center field, climbing, carrying, and finally vanishing into the sea of screaming fans. Back-to-back bombs. Rodriguez followed Arozarena's fireworks with his own explosion, and just like that, the Mariners had flipped the game on its head. The dugout exploded in celebration. Teammates poured out, arms raised, helmets flying. The fans were jumping, chanting Julio's name as if summoning a storm. The Mariners had gone from hopeful to unstoppable in a matter of minutes. That moment, that back-to-back power surge, was more than just a rally. It was the pulse of a team refusing to quit. Julio's home run wasn't just power, it was poetry. The way he turned on the pitch, the follow-through, the sheer emotion in his eyes as he rounded the bases, it was the embodiment of what baseball fans dream to witness. When he touched home plate and met Arozarena with a chest bump that could have shaken the dugout walls, the two players shared a grin that said everything. This was their moment. The opposing pitcher stood on the mound, staring into the distance, his confidence shattered. Moments earlier, he had been cruising. Now, the game had spun out of control. The Mariners' bench was alive, their energy contagious, their confidence surging. The fans could sense something bigger happening, a momentum shift that might carry them deep into October. Every replay on the big screen sent the crowd into another frenzy. The angles showed the perfect timing, the effortless power, and the raw emotion on both players' faces. Even the broadcasters couldn't contain their excitement, their voices cracking as they described what was quickly becoming one of the most electric moments of the season. Arozarena's swing was art, short, compact, devastating. Julio's was power personified, violent yet controlled, the kind that sends shivers down a pitcher's spine. Together, those back-to-back shots didn't just score runs, they rewrote the story of the game. As the inning continued, the Mariners' dugout buzzed like a hive. Every player knew they had witnessed something special. The fans didn't sit down for the rest of the inning, waving signs and chanting the players' names. It wasn't just about the scoreboard, it was about pride, resilience, and belief. Randy and Julio, two stars from different backgrounds but with the same fire in their hearts, had become symbols of that belief. Arozarena, the postseason hero known for his swagger and fearlessness, and Julio, the young superstar destined for greatness, stood side by side, leading a team through sheer willpower. In the next half inning, you could feel the tension flip. The opposing hitters were now on the defensive, their confidence drained. Every Mariners pitch felt sharper, every defensive play crisper. The team fed off the momentum that their two sluggers had created. It was as if the entire ballpark had shifted its energy in one explosive moment. Arozarena, sitting on the bench with his helmet off, looked up at the scoreboard and smiled. Julio leaned over and said something, and both laughed, the easy laughter of men who knew they'd done something unforgettable. Cameras zoomed in on that exchange, capturing it for highlight reels that would play for days. By the time the inning ended, the Mariners were in full command. The energy was unrelenting. Fans chanted, MVP. For Julio and Randy. Randy. For Arozarena, alternating back and forth like a rhythm section of belief. The ninth inning brought more tension, the kind that keeps every fan glued to their seat. But the Mariners' bullpen held strong. Every out drew them closer to a victory that had seemed impossible just half an hour earlier. And when the final out was recorded, the eruption was deafening. Players stormed the field, fireworks burst over the skyline, and Arozarena and Julio stood at the center of it all, surrounded by teammates, grinning like kids who had just written a new chapter in franchise history. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement to the rest of the league. After the game, reporters surrounded both sluggers. Arozarena's answer was simple, that's baseball. You never give up. Julio, smiling as always, added, moments like this, that's why we play. Their humility only made the story more powerful. Social media erupted instantly. Highlights of the back-to-back bombs flooded feeds worldwide. Fans across the globe shared clips with captions like, unreal. And, these two are built different. Analysts on late-night shows called it one of the season's defining moments. Even rival players couldn't help but acknowledge it. Tweets from stars around the league praised the duo's composure under pressure and their ability to turn a game on its head. The Mariners' locker room turned into a celebration, music blasting, players dancing, champagne spraying. But beyond the joy of the win, there was something deeper, a sense that this night marked a turning point. Teams build chemistry in moments like these, where trust and belief collide with talent and timing. The Mariners had found that spark. Julio, still just in his early 20s, continued to prove that he wasn't just the future, he was the now. His presence on the field radiated leadership. Arozarena, the ultimate showman, brought his trademark energy that lifted everyone around him. Together, they were unstoppable. As highlights replayed across every sports channel, fans who hadn't even watched the game tuned in to witness those iconic swings. Commentators broke down the mechanics, the exit velocity, the launch angle, but what couldn't be measured was the emotion. The goosebumps, the roar, the unity of thousands in that stadium. Baseball, at its heart, is a game of moments. And this was one of those moments that transcended statistics. It was about two players, two swings, and one city ignited by belief. Kids in Seattle would go to sleep that night dreaming of hitting like Julio or celebrating like Randy. Parents would talk about how they were there when it happened. The story would live on, not just in highlight reels, but in memory, in the fabric of Mariners fandom. And for Arozarena and Rodriguez, it was another reminder that legends aren't made over seasons, they're made in flashes of brilliance, in innings where everything aligns, in the sound of a bat meeting a ball that disappears into the night. The Mariners left the field that evening not just with a win, but with momentum, the kind that defines October dreams. Fans filed out still buzzing, chanting long after the final out. Some games you forget by the next morning. Others stay with you forever. This was one of those games. Two swings. One inning. A city reborn in belief. Arozarena and Rodriguez, names forever linked by the thunder they unleashed that night.